There comes a time in life when we must stop waiting for a miracle and start becoming one. We often believe that transformation happens through massive change, grand events, or some perfect alignment of the stars. But the truth is, transformation begins in the smallest choices. It is hidden in the silence of your morning routine, in the decision to speak kindly to yourself, in the courage to begin again when you fail. As someone who's experienced the weight of despair and the beauty of resilience, I can tell you with all my heart, your life does not change when you move mountains. It changes when you pick up one small stone every single day and move it with purpose. Today, I want to speak to the part of you that is tired yet hopeful. The part of you that wants more from life but isn't sure where to begin. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to know every step ahead. All you need are 4 small intentional habits. And I promise you this, if you commit to them, they will transform your life. Start and end your day with gratitude. Gratitude is not simply a feeling. It is a decision. It is a decision to shift the lens through which you see the world. When you wake up and your body aches or your mind is heavy, gratitude whispers, "Thank you, I still have breath." It teaches you that existence alone is a miracle worthy of acknowledgement. The quiet moments in the morning before the world demands your attention are sacred. That is the time to meet yourself with silence, with awareness, and with a heart willing to notice even the smallest joys. A soft blanket, the sound of birds, a glimpse of the sky, these are not accidents. They are reminders that beauty still exists. So many people are chasing happiness, but happiness is not something you catch. It's something you notice. Gratitude gives you the eyes to see what was always there. And when you truly begin to see, your life transforms from something ordinary into something deeply meaningful. You do not need a perfect life to be thankful. You only need an open heart. There are days that will break you, days that will stretch your soul, but even in those moments, if you can say, "I am still here," then you have already won. Gratitude is the seed of resilience. When your feet touch the floor in the morning, say thank you. When you sip water and feel it cool your throat, say thank you. When the sun rises, not just over the sky, but within your chest, say thank you. These small acknowledgements become your quiet revolution. Gratitude doesn't change the facts of your life, but it changes how you live within them. It doesn't erase your grief, but it reminds you that grief and grace can coexist, that your story, no matter how complex, still has goodness woven into its pages. We are not promised tomorrow. That's why today is called a gift. When you learn to say thank you for what is, instead of waiting for what could be, you find yourself grounded in the present moment. And the present is the only place where true life exists. Ending your day with gratitude allows you to rest, not in fear, but in fullness. It is not about pretending everything went right. It is about recognizing that even in the mess, you made it through. That deserves honor. That deserves reflection. Your last thoughts before sleep are powerful. They become the language your soul carries into dreams. So tell your soul something kind. Tell your soul thank you. Thank you for surviving. Thank you for holding on. Thank you for trying again. Over time, this habit changes your inner world. It cultivates peace where there was chaos. It brings softness where there was tension. It gives you a sense of purpose in the simplest experiences. You begin to crave stillness, not stimulation. Gratitude has a way of anchoring you when everything feels like it's falling apart. It doesn't demand denial of pain. It simply introduces you to perspective. And perspective is the birthplace of emotional freedom. This habit isn't about writing long lists or posting perfect quotes. It's about pausing in the raw, unfiltered moments of your life and choosing to see the light that's still flickering, even when darkness tries to convince you it's gone. In a world that moves fast and shouts loud, gratitude is your quiet rebellion. It slows you down. It returns you to your breath. It grounds you in the truth that you don't need more. You need awareness of what you already have. When practiced consistently, this one small habit becomes a bridge between despair and hope, between pressure and peace, between noise and meaning. Gratitude is the habit that opens your heart to life again. It reminds you that nothing is too small to celebrate, that waking up, breathing deeply, making it through the day, these are not just routines, they are triumphs. Speak to yourself kindly every single day. The world can be harsh, people can be judgmental, situations can be cruel, but the voice that speaks to you, the most the one that shapes how you feel every day, is your own. And that voice can either be a home or a battlefield. What you say to yourself becomes your inner reality. It becomes the space you live in, the energy you carry, and the foundation of your worth. That's why speaking to yourself kindly is not a luxury, it is a lifeline. We often become our own worst enemies. We replay our failures, we criticize our appearance, we question our every move. And without realizing it, we build prisons inside our minds. Prisons made of shame, fear, and not enoughness. But imagine if instead your voice became your sanctuary. Imagine if every day, even in the smallest way, you affirmed your efforts. I am doing my best. I am learning. I am worthy of love, even when I stumble. These words are more powerful than any external validation. Kindness to self does not mean denying your flaws. It means embracing them without punishment. It means creating space for your humanity. It means realizing that healing does not happen in the presence of cruelty, it happens in the presence of compassion. You wouldn't tell a child you're stupid for making that mistake. You wouldn't tell a friend you're worthless because you're struggling. So why say those things to yourself? Why plant seeds of unworthiness in the soil of your soul? The habit of self-kindness is gentle and strong. It is holding your heart in your hands and saying, I'm here for you. It is interrupting the pattern of internal bullying and choosing tenderness instead. And yes, it is a choice every single day. Some days, all you might be able to say is, I survived today. And that is enough. Some days, you may fall apart. Speak to yourself with softness in those moments, because that softness becomes strength when the time comes to rise again. The language you use with yourself becomes the blueprint for your courage. When you affirm yourself, you build resilience. When you belittle yourself, you fracture trust. And trust in yourself is the foundation of every transformation. This habit is small, but it's sacred. Just one kind sentence to yourself in the mirror, one moment of grace instead of criticism, one internal hug instead of a mental slap, this can shift the entire tone of your day. And slowly, it changes who you believe you are. You stop seeing yourself as a mistake waiting to happen and start seeing yourself as someone worth fighting for. You begin to show up for yourself, not out of obligation, but out of love. Your journey may not look like anyone else's. Your pace may be slower, your path may be winding, but you deserve a voice that cheers you on, not one that tears you down. Let that voice be yours. Speak to yourself like someone who matters, because you do. Speak to yourself like someone who is healing, evolving, learning, because you are. Speak to yourself like someone who deserves peace, because that peace begins with the words you choose. And even when your voice shakes, speak anyway, with gentleness, with courage, with the knowing that every kind word you offer yourself is one step closer to becoming whole again. Choose one daily act of discipline. Discipline is often misunderstood. People think it's about control or punishment, but true discipline is about devotion. It is about showing up for what matters, even when it's difficult, especially when it's difficult. Because that is where the real transformation begins. One small act of discipline each day is not about changing everything overnight. It is about creating a rhythm, a sacred agreement between you and your potential. It is the quiet promise you make to your future self that says, I care enough to keep trying. You don't need to master a dozen habits all at once. You only need to pick one, just one, that becomes your anchor. Maybe it's journaling for 5 minutes, or choosing silence before sleep, or drinking water before you pick up your phone. Let it be small, but let it be sacred. Discipline teaches you integrity. It reminds you that you are capable of honoring your word to yourself. And that is the foundation of self-respect. Because when you keep the small promises, you start believing in the big ones. In a world that glorifies busyness, choosing a daily act of discipline is a radical form of presence. It is not about perfection, it is not about outcome, it is about intention. The intention to grow, the intention to heal, the intention to rise. There will be days when you don't feel like it, days when your energy is low, when your motivation disappears. But discipline is not driven by feeling, it is rooted in purpose. You act not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. And in doing so, you begin to rebuild the parts of you that life tried to break. You reclaim the sense of agency that trauma may have stolen. You become the architect of your own recovery, laying brick by brick the foundation for a stronger self. One small act of discipline says, I am not helpless. One small act of discipline says, I still have power. That power doesn't need to be loud or dramatic. It needs to be consistent, quiet, unshakable, yours. Think of it as a thread. Each day you add one more strand to your inner tapestry. And eventually, what began as a fragile effort becomes a rope strong enough to pull you out of anything that once held you down. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to be present. You are here to be willing. And willingness is all you need to begin. Even if it's just a few deep breaths, a mindful pause, a walk outside, choose something that reminds you, I am still participating in my own life. Discipline is the gentle practice of believing in yourself, even when no one else sees your effort. It is private victory. It is quiet strength. It is the part of you that refuses to give up, even when giving up would be easier. And yes, there will be setbacks. You will forget. You will miss a day. But discipline doesn't demand perfection, it invites you to return again and again. With grace, with humility, with the understanding that progress is not linear, but it is possible. As you practice this one daily act, you begin to see yourself differently. You see yourself as capable, as committed, as someone worthy of investment. Because that's what discipline, isan, investment in your highest self. You don't have to do everything today. Just do something. One small thing, one small step. Let that be your offering. Let that be your prayer. Let that be the moment you whisper to yourself, I am trying and that is enough. Let go of one thing that no longer serves you. There is a weight we carry that was never meant for us. It shows up as expectations, as guilt, as old stories that echo louder than truth. And yet, we hold on. We hold on because letting go feels like loss. But sometimes, letting go is the most powerful form of love. Each day, we are given a chance to release, to loosen our grip on something that hurts. Maybe it's a belief that says you're not enough. Maybe it's a memory that keeps replaying its pain. Maybe it's a voice that convinced you to stay small. You don't need to let go of everything, just one thing, just for today. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means creating space for something new to arrive. It means giving yourself permission to breathe without the tightness of yesterday's burdens. It means telling your soul, you don't have to carry this anymore. So many of us walk through life dragging what we've outgrown. Old fears, old relationships, old definitions of who we were told to be, and it exhausts us, not because we are weak, but because we are carrying too much of what no longer nourishes us. Letting go is not an act of abandonment, it is an act of liberation. It is choosing peace over pleasing. It is choosing truth over tradition. It is choosing yourself, even if that choice feels unfamiliar or frightening. Start with one thing. Maybe it's the need for approval. Maybe it's the habit of comparing. Maybe it's the anger you've held on to like armor. Lay it down. Just for today. Just long enough to notice the lightness in your chest when you're no longer carrying what breaks you. Letting go creates room. Room for clarity. Room for calm. Room for the life that is trying to reach you but cannot find its way through the clutter. Room for joy. Not forced or fake, but real joy, honest and soft and earned. And yes, letting go may hurt. Sometimes the thing we cling to is the very thing that kept us going when we had nothing else. But even survival tools have an expiration date, and you are allowed to outgrow what once saved you. There will be moments when you'll want to pick it back up. The grudge, the fear, the story. That's okay. Healing isn't about never struggling again. It's about shortening the time between falling and rising. Letting go is a practice, not a one-time event. You don't have to know what comes next. You only have to trust that what you're releasing is making space for something kinder, something quieter, something that feels like home in your own body. Letting go is not passive, it is fierce. It requires courage to say, this is not who I am anymore. And even more courage to act on that knowing. But every time you choose release over resistance, you grow lighter, freer, braver. Letting go is not a betrayal of your past. It is the honoring of your future. It is the understanding that some chapters end not because they failed, but because they taught you everything you needed to know. So today, choose one thing, one belief, one thought, one fear. Hold it gently, thank it for what it taught you, and then let it go. Even if it's just for now, even if it returns tomorrow, let today be the day you put it down. Because you deserve to move through life with arms wide open, not clenched around pain. You deserve to feel your own strength, unburdened. And sometimes, strength is not in holding on, but in knowing when to finally let go. Transformation is hidden in the smallest choices. We often search for change in the big, bold, dramatic moments. We wait for the breakthrough, the applause, the open doors that feel like destiny arriving on schedule. But the truth is, the most powerful transformation never shouts. It whispers. And it hides in the smallest choices you make when no one is watching. 4 small habits. So small, they seem almost too quiet to matter. But that's where their power lives. In their simplicity, in their consistency, in their sacred repetition. Waking up early to greet the morning before the world asks anything of you, it's not just about productivity, it's about reclaiming your time, your presence, your breath. It's about choosing yourself before life pulls you in every direction. Hydrating your body, it's not just about health, it's about honoring the vessel that carries your dreams. It's a daily act of self-respect, a way of saying, I matter enough to care for what is mine. Moving your body, it's not about perfection or appearance. It's about motion becoming medicine. It's about remembering that your body still holds joy, still holds rhythm, still holds freedom even after pain. Speaking kindly to yourself, it's not about pretending you're okay. It's about creating safety within. It's about rewriting the cruel inner dialogue and choosing compassion as your new native language. Stillness, it's not just rest, it's revelation. It's where you meet yourself beneath all the layers, where your soul finds breath, where you remember that being is more than enough. Gratitude, it's not a trend, it's a lens. A daily practice of turning your eyes toward what is good. Not because the pain disappears, but because your perspective shifts. And that shift is what saves you. These are not just habits. They are invitations. Invitations to come home to yourself. To choose presence over performance. Grace over grinding. Wholeness over hustle. The world may never notice when you drink that glass of water. When you pause in silence, when you write down one thing you're thankful for, but your spirit will notice, your heart will remember, your life will begin to change. Not all transformations come with fanfare. Some arrive slowly, quietly, gently, one small habit at a time, one healing choice at a time. One breath, one sip, one kind word at a time. So don't underestimate the small things. They are not small at all. They are sacred. They are the soil in which your new life is taking root.